Hi, Relaxed Recaps here. Today I'm going to explain a drama thriller film called Cracks. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In an elite boarding school, a girl named Try is seen confessing her sins of lustful thoughts to a horrified father. Yeah, that's right, father. Look away. She and her friends sit down for dinner, where Try keeps staring at Miss G. After all, Try has a crush on her. Try is also the captain of the swim team, and she's very bossy, even scolding a girl for not putting butter on her bread. Basically, if Draco Malfoy was a girl. Later, a new student, a Spanish royal member, arrives at the school. The girl, Fiamma Corona, is met by Miss Nieven and escorted to the school. Fiamma looks at the dark building without much excitement. The girls look at her weirdly, and she looks uncomfortable in her new home. Fiamma is given a bed with the rest of the diving team. The British girls openly talk about her face. Try tells her that everyone is allowed only 5 things on the nightstand. Fiamma has too many things there. Fiamma sassily says that the world must be ending right now. Try gets angry. At night, Fiamma sits awake and watches the other girls. One of the girls, Fuzzy, has a nightmare, and the warden comes and calms Fuzzy down. Before going out, she gives Fiamma an awkward curtsy. Fiamma is not impressed. The next day, everyone goes out to the lake for their dive. Try makes a beautiful dive, and Miss G is thoroughly impressed. Fuzzy goes next, but she gets nervous and makes a flat landing. Miss G is disappointed as the other girls laugh. Miss G next asks Fiamma to go, but Fiamma says it's too cold. This is like winter in Spain. Miss G taunts her by asking if she's even any good, so Fiamma goes to the top. From there, she makes an even more beautiful front flip dive. All the girls clap for her, except the usual jealous ones. Miss G also appreciates her talent and claps. Try, on the other hand, is furious, especially with her idol Miss G clapping right next to her ears. Later, the girls go on a hike to the moors, but Fiamma has to breathe from her inhaler because of her breathing problem. The others start teasing her because of this. Sometime later, they get their parcels from their family, and Fiamma gets a parcel that's even bigger than Try's ego. She opens it and reveals pretty things and sweets. The girls seem to be having a better time with Fiamma these days. They urge her to tell a story, so Fiamma tells the story of a king and a daughter and their adventures with a magical blue diamond. While telling her story, she rolls up a piece of paper and burns it. Just as she finishes narrating, the paper flies up, much to the fascination of everyone. Even Miss G is amazed. Later, Miss G goes to a secluded place and eats one of Fiamma's sweets, like an OnlyFans simp. While savoring every bite, she looks over the postcards that had come for Fiamma, which she hid with herself. At night, she goes to the girls' room and talks to Try. Then she wakes them all and takes them swimming. Miss G gets undressed, and all the girls follow her. Like water nymphs in fairy tales, they play around in the moonlit lake. Try says that Miss G has been to many fascinating places all over the world. She tells them a story about when she was traveling in India and other exotic places. Miss G says that Fiamma is not like the other girls, while Try looks at them jealously. The next day, Miss Naivan tells Miss G that when Fiamma was in Spain, she had tried to run away with a peasant, a communist peasant. Miss Naivan does not want to talk about it though, and changes the topic to how Miss G has been for a long time, ever since she has been a student. This is a heavy implication that Miss G has not traveled the world as she claims. Later, the girls are learning flower arrangements. Try goes to her and says disgusting stuff about Fiamma's father while the other girls defile her flowers. Fiamma is calm though and doesn't let her anger be shown. Much later, they listen to more music while trying on beautiful things from different places in the world. Fiamma then sees the postcard that was meant for her. Miss G gets nervous and changes the topic by narrating one of her fascinating adventures in Africa. But suddenly, Fiamma finishes the story that Miss G was narrating. Miss G gets scared and says that Fiamma must have heard her tell the story before. She continues her story, and Fiamma again completes her lines. Fiamma reveals that Miss G is just narrating lines from an adventure novel. Even her biggest simp, Try, is speechless. In their diving lessons, Miss G gets extremely nervous that her truth might come out, but she can't help appreciating Fiamma's skill. Fiamma starts breathing from her inhaler, but Miss G then feeds her medicine and forces her to do another dive. Fiamma does quite a fine dive, but comes out late, gasping for breath. Miss G says that only Fiamma has the drive and passion to go beyond. Meanwhile, Fiamma herself is struggling with her near-death experience right now. In the changing rooms, Miss G congratulates Fiamma's skill. She adds that they are very similar and should be good friends. However, Fiamma is finding it a little hard to make friends with a liar who almost just caused her death just now. Later, Miss G goes to the nearby village while avoiding the people there. She claimed to have traveled the world, but here we see her having trouble even interacting with the townsfolk. When two men try to help her, she gets scared and leaves immediately. The next morning, she prepares breakfast for Fiamma to get her affection. All the other girls are shocked because Miss G had never done anything like this for any of them. So the girls collect some of their belongings and money and give them to Fiamma. Then they tell her to go away. Fiamma leaves like a dignified lady. Seeing this, Try throws a rock at her, so Fiamma runs like a dignified lady. At night, the warden comes and notices that Fiamma is missing, so everyone goes out to look for her. Meanwhile, Fiamma is at the phone booth trying to reach her father. However, she gets no response and starts crying. Later, Try goes to Miss G and suggests that the team is better without Fiamma. Hearing this, Miss G gets angry and sends her away. The girls cannot sleep at night. Much later, policemen bring back Fiamma. The girls are relieved to see her, but not Try. Fiamma is also angry at being back. Their diving classes go as normal, and Fiamma is still amazing at it. Miss G still vies for Fiamma's attention, but she's avoidant of her. Miss G inspires them with poetic quotes, but Fiamma is not impressed. So she asks for a competition with other schools. However, Try admits that they've never attended any competitions. They start asking Miss G why they haven't competed. Miss G angrily says that they've never been ready and leaves. At night, Try wakes up Fiamma. Crying, she tells her to try and be a team player instead of being selfish. And this is the same girl who tried to kick out Fiamma. Unbelievable. Fiamma says that she doesn't care about being in a team and only wants to go home. Try shouts that they all want to go home. She reveals that the girls here have not been home for a long time and are practically abandoned by their parents. The next day, Fiamma offers Try her perfume and she manages to say a small thank you. Fiamma promises to be kinder to Miss G so that Miss G will be kinder to Try. Outside, they all plan a midnight feast and they all get excited. Miss G looks at them miserably from a distance because she didn't get her invite. That night, the girls begin their feast and the girls start bonding. They pass food and wine around themselves and have a lovely time. They ask Fiamma to teach them how to kiss, as she's the only one there who's kissed a boy. They giggle and Miss G listens to them angrily. Much later, the girls get wilder in their merrymaking, so Miss G comes inside, tells them to clean up, and takes away Fiamma because she's too drunk. Miss G takes Fiamma to her own room and tells her that she would do anything for her. She cleans her face while telling her all the adventures they'll do together. Then she removes Fiamma's clothes and kisses her. Try silently comes into her room and sees the whole thing. She watches as Miss G lies on Fiamma's chest. However, she misunderstands the situation and in her anger, she doesn't realize that Fiamma is actually unconscious. The next day, Miss G tries to talk to Fiamma, but she threatens to tell everyone what she's done. Miss G is shocked and sits down weakly. Try comes to her and asks if something is wrong. Miss G cries and says that she plans on leaving on her travels because Fiamma is going to spread false rumors about her. Try is blinded by her love for Miss G. She angrily takes the girls with her and goes after Fiamma. They find her at a stream. Try grabs her by the hair and they take her to the woods. Try cries and says that Miss G is leaving because of Fiamma. Fiamma is not feeling well, but they don't care and still think that Fiamma made love to Miss G. Fiamma pleads with them to see that Miss G actually took advantage of her last night. Try can't accept that Miss G could be guilty. Fiamma tries to take back her inhaler, but Try doesn't let go. So she slaps Try and runs away. They chase her into the forest while Fiamma continues to breathe terribly. They surround her and hit her with sticks. Fuzzy tries to stop them, but it's no use. Fiamma starts struggling to breathe and the girls get scared. Try sends the girls to bring someone while she looks for the inhaler. Just then, Miss G arrives and takes the inhaler from her. She sends Try away to find help. Alone with Fiamma now, she strokes her face while Fiamma still struggles to breathe. Fiamma begs her to give her the inhaler back, but Miss G doesn't do it. Instead, she hugs her and kisses Fiamma while she stops breathing. Try arrives just then and sees Miss G putting the inhaler in Fiamma's hand. Miss G also sees her. Everyone else arrives and panics over Fiamma, but Miss G and Try only stare at each other. The girls sit in their dorm and cry with guilt. Try tells the girls everything she saw. After that, they go to Miss G. Try says that Fiamma was supposed to be Miss G's favorite. Miss G says yes, and they should move on as a team. Try angrily asks why she let Fiamma die, but Miss G denies it. Try says that she doesn't deserve them and they give her their diving team ribbons, all while Miss G is in denial, saying that they're only trying to make her the scapegoat. She yells at them, but they just leave. Later, Try goes to Miss Nievin and tells her everything. However, Miss Nievin cannot risk tarnishing their school's reputation, so they will only be sending Miss G away, nothing more. Hearing this injustice to Fiamma's memory, all in the name of protecting their reputation, Try starts crying. Much later, Miss G goes to her home and stares into space. Her reputation and image are broken now. Meanwhile, the girls read a letter from Try, telling them that she'll miss them and write to them, and that they must be strong. We see that Try has become disillusioned with their school and is left. She holds Fiamma's perfume and goes out to sea. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.